It's not a luxury to feel good. First, give yourself a break because this is hard. You often have to give energy to get energy. And it's okay to have a day where not every hour is filled.
Welcome to the Feel Good Club podcast. This is the place where ambitious working moms learn how to elevate their well-being, increase success in all areas, and create a positive, aligned life. Whether you're here to hear expert interviews or inspiring talks, this is your space to learn and grow. I'm Tia Graham, keynote and TED speaker, best-selling author, and founder of the Feel Good Club community for high-achieving moms. I am an expert in the science of happiness. This show is here to help you feel grounded, happier, and connected to yourself and others. I know you are going to love it. Thank you for being here. Let's dive in.
Hi, Beth. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Tia. Thanks so much for having me.
Of course, I'm so glad you're here. Can you start off by sharing the story or the reason why you do what you do? Why do you care so much about helping busy women prioritize their movement and their nutrition and just overall health?
Sure. So going way back in time, I originally started my career in publishing, actually, and worked in a very corporate role for years. And I had studied kinesiology in college. I had double majored, but I had wanted to go into a more corporate role. And to kind of fast forward, give you the synopsis, I started to realize that a lot of the women around me, those my age and women in their 30s, 40s, 50s, everyone was working hard, or the really high achieving women. People didn't seem to feel great. Even the people who were, grinding and getting up at 5 a.m. to go to a workout class before putting in hours at the office. And I had this kind of sense of I want to do something to help people feel better. And I kind of slowly and with the support of my partner decided to make a major career change. And at this point, this was many years ago. But so I work now with women primarily one-on-one. I'm a nutritionist. I'm a personal trainer and a sports medicine trainer. I've also worked a lot with athletes. But what these athletes have in common with all these women is they're high achieving, juggling a lot, and everybody wants to check off all these boxes.
Mm-hmm.
But I had this sense that we're checking off these boxes without really being in tune with our bodies and kind of connecting to what really makes us feel good.
And when you say checking the boxes, it's oh, I went to the gym, or, oh, I ate vegetables today. Is that what you mean? Kind of these things, but not really truly in tune with what's making us feel well?
Yeah, I do. I mean, checking those boxes, and then also the bigger boxes where you're, okay, I'm going to get promoted by,
Oh, the life boxes.
yes,
Get married, have kids.
yes, then I'm going to have my second kid, and then people are asking, are you finished? And then what's next? And I think we go through life and we have so much going on that sometimes we're not always really aware of how we're feeling. And this is kind of there's a lot to that, as you know, but I look at my profession as I really work with people on their physical health, of course, but also there's a lot when it comes to mental health.
Oh yeah, they're 100% connected.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I'm going to start off by asking if there is a working mom listening right now that says, yeah, I would love to focus on more movement and I would love to have better nutrition, but I don't have the time. What would you say to that?
So I hear
a working mom who's listening.
Sure, I hear this a lot and I get it. And I think that one thing that runs through people's heads is I will find the time eventually when life calms down. But I would argue, when you have kids, does life ever calm down? When you're a working mom, there's certainly phases that might feel a little more chaotic than others. We all know this,
Yeah.
but you have to start thinking about taking care of yourself as a priority, not a luxury. It's not a luxury to feel good. And it doesn't mean you have to have a 60-minute workout. You can do a 20-minute workout, and it doesn't mean your food needs to look, you know, perfectly Instagram worthy, and like that you need to be cooking all of your meals. I think I would say a lot of things to that, mom, but two, I would say first, give yourself a break because this is hard.
Yeah.
And two, let's find a way to break it down into smaller steps. Like, what can you do this week, this month to start to feel
Mhm.
better? And how can you schedule in that time for yourself?
I love what you said. I agree completely that it's a priority, not a luxury. And many working moms, their kids are a huge priority, and their career is a big priority. And then you have a house, and you might be, like we were just talking before we hit record, managing a nanny or someone else that helps you, marriage, all these different things. And so it is easy to make yourself less of a priority because you feel so time poor.
Yeah.
But it's really this change in mindset and change in belief that your health and feeling good is as much of a priority as your career and your kids. Because that, I'm thinking of some moms in the Feel Good Club in my membership that, it's like they always feel behind at work, and the kids are all consuming, and it's like, yeah, I don't have time, but that really is, just even saying that is a belief,
Right.
not based on facts.
I I think too that we worry so much about all these other things in our lives that are extremely important, our career, our family, but we are going to show up so much better for everybody else if we're taking care of ourselves. I
Yeah.
know this for myself. I
Yeah.
feel it when I'm not getting enough sleep, or I'm not, filling my own bucket. I'm napping a lot.
Oh, no. I am a bitch when I'm sleep deprived. Like, to my husband, like, I am not nice, and he knows it and I know it. So it's like, Tia needs sleep.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk about this. You talked about simple. I did a 25-minute bike ride this morning. I never do 60-minute workouts. I use two pre-kids. I mean, I shouldn't say never, but it's more like 30 minutes. So, let's say I'm thinking of this one member in my group. Let's say you're a lawyer, two little kids, not a lot of family help, and I don't think she has a nanny. So how do you make time for eating well and exercising when you're stretched thin? Really, like, practical. How do you actually plan it and then do it?
I think that you need to take a look at your calendar and assess where your time is going. And chances are you're feeling, as you said before, time poor,
Hmm.
but there may be some hidden buckets in there. And again, start small. Don't the people who try to overhaul their entire life in terms of health overnight, those are the January people that, fall off by February, and I'm an advocate for the long game.
Hmm.
So I would honestly put pen to paper and really look at your calendar and say, okay, when could I fit in a walk? Or when could I pick up some weights and get in a workout? And it doesn't need to be these really formal, like, it doesn't need to look perfect. If your child is running through the room while you're doing your strength training, that's okay. I mean,
Yeah.
that's where we are at
Yeah.
life. Or if you're interrupted and it's 10 minutes shorter than you wanted to be, it's okay. It all counts. So start recalibrating your thinking. And when it comes to nutrition, again, I think there's a big case to be made for outsourcing. Can you order a healthy meal delivery service? Can you have somebody help
Love that.
you with your meal prep? Like, this is something that I help a lot of clients with, is I help them with meal ideas that are not super complicated. We'll put together a whole grocery list for them. We'll come up with a couple easy meals for those nights that you're like exhausted and you're very tempted to do Uber Eats, but really I can find things that really will only take, you know, 10 minutes to pull together and you'll feel a lot
Those
better.
are my kind of dinners, 10
Yeah.
minutes.
You don't need to. I mean, nobody needs to be a hero with with this stuff. It's the little things, and I think maybe starting by lowering the bar and getting out of like that black and white
Mm.
thinking is
Yeah,
helpful for a lot of women.
right. Right. So, so good. And what would you say to a working mom who is really hard on herself? I talk a lot about the inner critic who's really hard on herself about how she looks, how little she exercises, hard on herself about maybe her kids aren't eating as many vegetables as she would like. Like she just sort of feels like I'm not doing good enough. I don't really feel great. Um, what would you say to that woman?
Yeah, it's tough. I you need to talk to yourself more positively is the starting point,
Yeah.
and that can take, you know, a lot of work that doesn't come overnight.
Yeah.
But usually people feel more confident and better about themselves, not necessarily because of how they look, but because of the promises that they're making to themselves that they're executing on. So again,
Mm,
what can
staying accountable to themselves.
yes, yes. And a lot of us need help with this at different times in our lives. And that makes sense. I mean, if something was going wrong in your life, you would see somebody to help you. If you had a legal issue, you would see a lawyer. If, you
Right.
know, if you have a medical issue, you see a doctor. If you're having issues with your health, you should outsource at certain points in your life until you can find a way to, you know, build some sustainable, healthy habits. And there's no shame in that. I mean, there's lots of ways that we're doing this outsourcing in our daily lives, but I think sometimes we're not thinking about it from the standpoint of just taking care of ourselves and feeling really good in our skin.
Let's take a quick pause for something that can really support you. If you constantly question if you are good enough as a working mom and desperately want to feel happier, I'd love to invite you to a complimentary discovery call with me. In 45 minutes, we'll get clear on what is out of alignment, what you want your days to feel like, and 2 to 3 simple changes you can make immediately to feel calmer and more confident. It's completely free, and it's a chance for us to connect and see if the Feel Good Club for working moms or one-on-one coaching might support you. To grab a spot, go to tiagraham.com/discovery call. That's tiagraham.com/discovery call, and pick a time that works for you.
Again, going back to that self-talk, it's really counterproductive to be so hard on ourselves. And we don't need to be an A plus in every single area simultaneously.
Right.
And when you think about a woman and everything they do and all we go through with pregnancy and postpartum and then just raising these humans, you know, from preschool to elementary school to middle school beyond, there's so many shifts. If your kids are taken care of and loved and have like generally, you know, some nutrition in their lives, you're doing great. Like, I wouldn't worry so much about the amount of vegetables they're getting every single day. Of course, that kind of starts at home. And the more that you can come together as a family and find a way to, you know, get something green on the table that's
Mhm.
great. But
Mhm.
again, cut yourself some slack. Like, I'm not anti ordering, you know, pizza on a Friday night.
I ordered pizza last night, but I gave him green beans with the pizza. So,
That's great.
yeah.
Even
Yeah,
if they don't
not
eat it, they
perfection.
just see it. It actually is just helpful for them to know that that is an option for them.
Yeah. Yeah. Not perfection. I love everything you said. I teach working moms a lot about self-compassion and you said be more positive to yourself and I say all the time to just be kind to yourself, right? Talk to yourself the way you talk to your best friend, and we talk to our friends way kinder than we talk to ourselves. So just knowing that this is a human experience, that our brains have a negativity bias. And you made a really good point about setting small realistic goals, and then doing those is what's going to make you feel good. And yeah, also outsource. Like, I'm sure the person listening spends a lot of money on their kids, like kid activities, or maybe your kid goes to that, you know, OT therapy or whatever, all these different things that we do for our kids. Um, that you also, it's kind of like you also deserve that too. I hired a trainer after my second daughter because I was like, I need someone to get me back in shape so I feel good. And yeah. So how come working moms should focus on energy management with the same intensity that they focus on time management? Because so many people are focused on productivity, manage your time. And energy management is not as talked about. I was to say, it's not as like famous, it's all, our society is so obsessed with productivity and time management. So how can the working mom listening be thinking about energy management?
So this is something that I've started talking to clients a lot about, energy management, over the past few years, because what I've witnessed is most working moms don't necessarily have a huge time management issue. They may feel time poor again, or they may feel, spread very thin. But when it comes down to it, they can get things done. Like, moms are really good at this. Uh, Energy management is when you start to think about, where am I feeling depleted?
Mhm.
And also, what's giving me energy and making me feel energized and making me feel like, oh, when you get that feeling where you're like, oh, actually, like, I can conquer more than I thought I could.
Mhm.
Well, that is usually the root of that is usually you're feeling good about how you're taking care of yourself. Like, nobody is running on very little sleep and treating themselves badly and feeling like they're super energized.
Right.
So I think it comes down to three things. One, I would tell a working mom to try to identify, before you even think about the nutrition and the fitness, identify when you feel your best, and also what pockets of the day are you most productive and most motivated. And motivation can come and go, and I really do think we need to rely on systems. But I
Mhm.
know for myself, if I think about the hardest thing that I have to do in a day, I would prefer to do that mid-morning. I know some people like to do things in the evening. Some
Mhm.
people, pick a time. But knowing yourself and knowing when you're kind of at your highest output, I would put your hardest tasks, for lack of a better word, in that pocket. So for some people, that might be their hurdle might be getting in a workout. So do it first thing if that's when you feel like you have the most energy and you're not going to run into as many obstacles.
Mhm.
And don't think that you're like the version of you at 6 p.m. when you have worked all day is really going to want to get themselves to the gym or
No.
go to a class. And if
Yeah.
you are that person, that's great, but it's knowing who you are and being realistic with yourself. I think that's a
Yeah.
huge part of energy management.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to taking care of yourself, how are you fueling yourself? Most of us, we are going from one thing to the next all day. I know so many working moms who are just like shoveling in a salad while they're doing five other things. Taking time just a little bit of time to actually like sit down, have a meal. And again, if it's not every day, that's fine. This is a goal, but
Mm-hmm.
that will really help kind of stabilize your energy so you're not feeling like your nervous system is fried and you're, you know, that feeling.
Yes. So you're talking about more mindful
Mhm.
eating,
Yes. Yes.
pausing and not multitasking, not like, yeah, actually just being more present with yourself.
Definitely. And I will say I'm someone who I still want to read, like maybe I'll read a Substack article while I'm eating lunch, but I will try to give myself 15 minutes instead of saying
Too.
like I'm not going to take a break. Yeah, instead of two or, running around from one thing
Yeah.
to the next. Or I know for me, just using myself as an example, it's not always super realistic for me to sit down for breakfast. Like we're getting the kids out the door,
I
hasn't sit
never sit
for
for
lunch.
breakfast. On the weekends, yes, but
Lunch
Monday to Friday, no. I'm
and
on my feet.
wonderful. Yes, but lunch I really try to take that time because again, it's not long. It's probably 15 minutes at the most,
Mhm.
but that helps me realize like, okay, this is like a little break and I'm going to stabilize my blood sugar and I'm going to then have energy to go through the rest of my day and I'm not going to
Mhm.
feel like I just am in like fight or flight. And that's
Mhm.
a big part of energy management as well. And then the third part is really the output and when you're going to get your movement in, which we have just discussed a little bit, but
Yeah.
finding time to do that in your day, even if it's something very quick, like a quick walk around the block is great.
Yeah.
And I think that we sometimes think, oh, we're too tired. I'm like feeling like I'm just going to have another cup of coffee. And that's okay sometimes, but you often have to give energy to get energy. And I
Mhm.
can't tell you how many times, I mean, I am not always motivated, but there have been so many times where I think I'm too tired for a little movement. And then I just do it. And afterwards, I
You
have
don't
so much
feel
more energy.
tired.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel lucky, and I don't know if you're I feel like you're similar to me in that I feel that it's been it's always been easier for me to exercise regularly than a lot of people. My mom was I grew up, she was a skier, a runner, and it just sort of grew up the way, and it was always important to me. And then plus, okay, teens, 20s, did I care about how I looked a lot? And absolutely, like, was there that, what's the word? Whatever, you care how you look, like that piece. I don't That's not the reason I exercise anymore. Um, but Mel Robbins always says, like, most people don't feel like exercising. Like that is not, maybe if you're an Iron Man person or I don't know, and it's like your whole life, but it's knowing that, and it's just what you said. It's like knowing that you're gonna feel better after, and you're gonna feel better for the rest of the day and even for a couple days, that you're not waiting till you're like, "Oh my God, I can't wait to go on a bike," or "I'm like so excited to lift weights right now." But you'll feel good when you're doing it, and you're definitely gonna feel good after. And it's like that, just remembering that.
Yes. Keeping that at the front of your mind when
Yeah.
you feel like bailing. I
Yes.
I agree with you. I think too, I've just learned at this point that I am a much nicer person and a calmer person and just a more patient person in business and with my children and with my husband when
Yeah.
I move my body. And
Yes.
it's so much less about the aesthetics at this point
Yeah.
because more just kind of like a happy pill. And you get it in and you feel like, okay, like
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
just a little bit calmer inside. And I think that it's it's something that not everybody feels initially, but
Mhm.
once you get into that place,
Mhm.
especially as a working mom who has so much going on, you'll start to crave it. And it might not be right away.
Yeah.
Eventually, you get to a place where you do realize I have never had worked with anybody who's ever said, like, I feel worse after
Right.
working
Yeah,
out.
it's a guarantee, really. There's not a lot of things in life that are a guarantee, but with Yeah, with food, sleep and movement, it is. It really, really is. Um, so my last question is, how can a working mom identify things that fill their cup? Maybe, and is there other things in addition to food and exercise that you would say if the cup is feeling pretty empty right now?
Sure. So one thing that I don't know if you ever come across this advice, but it drives me crazy when people tell working moms like just go get a manicure. And that's the example that comes to my mind because I don't ever find getting a manicure relaxing.
Yeah.
I feel like I feel sort of antsy because I feel like I'm wasting time.
Yeah.
Thank God now maybe we can listen to a podcast while we're in here. But so these little things that sometimes like society will tell us, like,
Like
oh,
self-care
yeah,
things.
the self-care things. These are different for everyone, and I think it's important as a woman and a working mom to identify the things that actually make you feel better. So I know for myself, like take fitness out of it. I like reading is really something that helps me.
Me too. I love reading.
Yeah, and I need to read every night before bed, and I just enjoy it, and it is for me. And
Hmm.
that is time that I feel like is kind of sacred.
Hmm.
And for other women, that might be, I don't know, going to mahjong with their friends or
Hmm.
um, taking a bath. It's like just something that's like a little bit of like a ritual that
Yeah.
you work into your week.
Yeah. Could be like mindful coloring, like you said, listening to a podcast, could be doing something with your kids that's really connecting. And yeah, it is. It is personal, but it's like what fills you up. I actually gave a talk on Monday. I was speaking to a bunch of working moms in Europe, and I was talking about doing things that you want to learn, right? Like what, 30 minutes a week. Do you want to learn guitar? Do you want to learn French? Do you want to learn how to write a book? It could be anything, but still being that student, even if you are 46 years old, like, that could be something. But I
Yeah.
just think your idea of, am I filling my cup each week in addition to like work, kids, and exercise? Like, what else am I doing is a good thing to think about.
And we think about our weekends these days. I think I know a lot of women are not getting rest on the weekends the way we used to. We're not going to leisurely brunches and the farmers
No,
market.
it's all kids stuff. Yeah.
Kids, their sports and their activities and their birthday parties. So
Play yeah.
that I kind of look at the week from like I look at it from the lens of, okay, it doesn't, again, not every week is going to be perfect, but can I do something? Can I find
Mhm.
some time where I can do something for myself? Because if you
Yeah.
go all week and you're working and then you go all weekend and you're, running from thing to thing and you don't have any of that time for yourself, it feels like a recipe for burnout that I think a lot of
Yeah.
people have experienced.
Yes. And then also resentment can grow maybe if your spouse has more of that time. And yeah, my husband and I recently we had a long talk and realized that we need to just do less overall, weekdays and weekends with the kids, with family. We just need to create more space. And I am the super planner. Like I am like, oh, we'll do that. And I overschedule because I'm excited and all these different things. And then it's too much, And so, and yeah, what you're saying is plan for you, even on Saturdays and Sundays also. Don't just plan for the kids
Yeah,
and the
well, you
family.
can. And also, like to your point, having a little white space, I think is a great thing. I'm similar. I'm a planner, and then I also happen to be married to a planner. So sometimes I'm like, can one of us needs to just like take their foot off the gas with all the planning because it can be way too much. And it's
Yeah.
okay to have a day where not every hour is filled and you
Yes. And just be home yes. 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 Oh, Beth, I could talk to you for hours. If people want to learn more about you and learn from you, where's the best place for them to go?
So in social, I'm on Instagram more than any other platform. That's Beth Sims Wellness. And I also have a Substack that I just started very recently because I wanted to return to some long form content. And they can email me, and I'm always happy to chat.
Perfect. Well, thanks for coming on the show, and enjoy the rest of your week.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Tia.
Thank you for joining me on the Feel Good Club show. I hope today's episode left you feeling inspired and equipped to take on your day with confidence, self-love, and joy. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your fellow ambitious working moms. Remember, you are not alone on this journey. We're all here to support each other in feeling good and living our best lives. Until next time, take care and be hopeful. And remember, prioritize your happiness.